Another aspect of case solving that's often ignored is change management. You can have a brilliant strategy, but if you don't show how the people in the organization will actually adopt and execute it, your recommendation will fall flat. I've coached 302 Haskayne teams to over 180 podium finishes. The winning teams always include a realistic change management plan alongside of their strategy and their implementation. This is the Tools and Skills Masterclass on change management. Let's learn how to make your solution happen with the people who matter. When implementing change, productivity typically drops. This is often called the Trough of Despair. Your goal is to shorten the dip and accelerate the return to and beyond the previous productivity levels. The better your change management plan, the faster and higher the recovery. This is why change management must be part of your overall solution and not an afterthought. There are several models that we'll talk about. The first one being the Sarah model, where the first step is shock, and that moves on to anger. We then move to resistance, acceptance, and finally to healing and hope. The whole idea here is that you guide the stakeholders with clear communication, address fears, provide support, and celebrate progress as you start to move through the steps. Next model is the Kotter's 8-step model, or often known as the burning platform, where you start with a sense of urgency, you build a guiding coalition, you form a vision, enlist volunteers, remove the barriers, start to generate short-term wins, sustain that acceleration, and finally institutionalize the change. There's also the ADKAR model, which starts with awareness, which is the awareness of the need for change, which you convert into a desire to support the change. To do that, you need some knowledge of how to make the changes and the ability to demonstrate the new skills and the new behaviors that you're looking for, and then reinforce each of these to make sure that it sticks. You use one or combine the elements to show that you thought about the human journey as you go through. There's some practical tips as you go through. And the first one is you have to consider all the stakeholders and focus on the most critical ones. You need to address leadership, communication, relationship building, operational wins, etc. And then there are some models out there like the C zone, which asks the questions in terms of how do you balance what you're doing between the challenges and the resources, and how to avoid the panic zone where there's too many challenges, or the comfort zone where there's not enough stretch maybe. You want to aim for the growth zone where the challenges remain balanced. And you can start to map that journey using the tools that you see on the screen, one for the challenges, one for the resources. And you're looking at, you want to get into that main C zone in the middle. So you map that journey from where your current state is to your future state, and you include how you're going to deal with all of the setbacks that you go through. Your change management plan should show how you're going to lead, model behavior, build trust, and sustain momentum as you go through. And part of that is going on the journey, building the relationships, obtaining the results, assigning some accountability as you go through, provide that leadership, and start to make use of the setbacks that you're using. There you have it, how to incorporate change management so your solution isn't just strategic on paper, but actually implementable with real people. This is part of the Tools and Skills Masterclass to complement this main 7-step case solution series. Drop your comment. It's the biggest struggle with incorporating change management in your cases. Subscribe and hit the bell for the rest of the Tools and Skills series. Cam Welsh out. Make your solutions realistic and people ready.